This is the place you need to be from July 21st when we start the Tobago Heritage Festival. Now, to give us a little, okay, we're not quite yet. Okay, so to give us a little bit about what is to come for the Tobago Heritage Festival, we will be chatting with Mr. Jesse Taylor, who is a cultural officer in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Good afternoon, Mr. Taylor. How are you?
Good afternoon to you, the beautiful. How are you?
I am great.
I'm good. I'm excited. We are gearing and ready to start. The air is building nicely. I'm liking what I'm feeling, and I'm really, really, really excited to be a part of this experience.
Now, the theme for this year's Tobago Heritage Festival is HOMAGE. Tell me a bit about that and why that theme was chosen for this year.
So, HOMAGE was designed out of an experience that we'd have had past in times past, and because of COVID, because the distance we have come after such a long time, and those difficulties we have faced along the way, characterized by all those people who have made all that we now have as treasures so worthwhile, we figured that after we would have rekindled and reignited the flame, it's now time for us to pause and pay reverence. So it's pinned to three words, and it's honor, celebrate, and to inspire. So we will honor those who have passed, we will celebrate the works of those who are working right now, and then we seek to retain what we have through preservation by instilling and inspiring something really, really great. And that's our culture.
And when I think about some of the people that were so instrumental in getting the Tobago Heritage Festival, Mr. J.D. Elder comes to mind. Tell me, how will he be recognized?
Well, certainly, he's one of the founding fathers. He was one of the persons who was charged back then, along with the likes of Mr. Stanley Beard, and many others who would have in 1986 looked at a way for Tobago to earn an opportunity for our tourism and economic growth and diversification. And from 1987 to when he passed, unfortunately, we were able to benefit from his wide reservoir of talents and expertise, his background in anthropology and all of that. So he is being celebrated as we pay homage, and it's not that is anything new. In the past incarnations, he was remembered, and certainly this year will be no different because we are honoring people on Emancipation Day as well.
And one of those people is the mighty shadow, Mr. Winston Bailey.
Well, it's still up for who is going to be there. We're not going to let all the cats out of the bag just yet. Right now we are focusing on Heritage TELEAYE. It's out of the fact that this woman who was conceptualized in a state of pregnancy, she is now stopping, reflecting in like the Sankofa Chronicle principles, and she is just looking back. 36 years have gone, and these are the things that have been able to inspire, to honor, and to encourage. And so we are pausing and show.
And then as we're getting ready to wrap up, you mentioned 36 years. Could you just give us, just in a couple minutes, tell me about that journey of 36 years of Tobago Heritage Festival?
It's been a long journey. I've been fortunate to be a part of most of it. I've seen so many different incarnations, and all that has resulted in the benefits of our tourism product. I figure that we have a wealth of talent, and we owe it to ourselves to shape that and to ensure that it becomes the nucleus for further growth, and that our cultural ecology could become so much wider. And that's why I'm so happy. We're dedicating all of this to tomorrow's children. So you will see youth on display, you will see new faces, but we belong to the same places, and we are just excited to be here. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity. We share this under Ms. Megan Morrison, who is the Assistant Secretary with the responsibility for culture and antiquities, and under Tasha Barris, the Council and Secretary for the Division. We are just glad to do for Tobago what Tobago is proud to showcase, and that's why we are here today.
All right, great. Want to thank you so much, Mr. Taylor, for giving us. I mean, Mr. Taylor, of course, is someone who is so much embedded into the fabric of the Tobago Heritage Festival. So, really great to hear from him as we get ready for the media launch of Tobago Heritage 2023. Now, we gotta move on, and we'll be joined next by this Assistant Secretary in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, and that is none other than Miss Megan Morrison. And of course, she has specific responsibilities for culture. Good afternoon and welcome to you.
Good afternoon to you. Thanks. I'm very happy to be here today.
Now, tell me a little bit about this year's Tobago Heritage Festival. It was mentioned that we're going to see a little bit of a scaled down version than in previous years.
Well, not in previous years. We also had a scaled down version last year. The truth be told, we have a lot of evaluating to do in terms of the festival to keep it relevant and all of that. And of course, budget constraints, at least for this year, right? So we do have a scale-down version. We're hoping by the symposium and so on that we have this year, we get recommendations and buy-in from our stakeholders to how we can do our heritage on a grander scale next year.
What do you think needs to happen for Tobago Heritage Festival to get to the next level?
I think we need to first embrace what the original culture is. So from where I sit, I see, and I've been a part of this for most of my life, I see some of the authenticity of what we present is derailing, right? We don't see some authentic dances as it used to be. So for me, yes, we can tell the heritage, portray what is the heritage and the culture while incorporating the new innovations, because we have a lot of people in the orange economy now who went to college, who have studied this. We didn't have that option, let's say 20 years ago as it is now. So you find a lot of practitioners have studied and all of that. So we want to embrace what was, what is, and what will be.
So what do you think would be the highlight of the 2023 edition?
Every presentation will be a highlight. We'll have the grand opening that will see three elements combined. The opening, the Miss Heritage Personality, and Calypso, all in one great show at minimal cost as well, right? So I think every production this year is something to look forward to. Trust me, it will be a bumper season.
And tell me about, just that feat of taking three events. The opening production, which is usually so magical. You're talking about the Miss Heritage competition and the Soca Monarch Calypso competition, both of which, it should be its own. How are we going to be able to condense that and to make it into one show that will still be captivating to the audiences?
Well, we will start a bit earlier, one. And yes, you are right. There are three standalone events that are very successful on their own. But because budgetary constraint one, and we have found a way to curtail the show that you wouldn't lose the essence and still be very entertaining while saving some costs as well, because each of these events would have mean a stage, sound, light, all of that. So in this instance, we will have one cost attached to that. But I can assure you the quality of what will be presented on the night will not suffer as a result of the combination.
And then what about, the idea of taking the Miss Heritage and the Calypso Monarch out of Roxborough, where it's traditionally held? And people up in the East, they are very much attached to those two events.
No, I think you are mistaken. The Afro Queen show is what is usually held in Roxborough. Shaw Park is where we hosted it last year as well. So, I don't see it as a challenge. There will be some things in the countryside that I don't think the East will suffer at all. It's not our intention, but any stretch of the imagination.
All right, want to thank you so much, Ms. Megan Morrison, Assistant Secretary in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. And of course, as she leaves our presence, we are going to be joined by the Secretary herself, Ms. Tasha Boris, who is heading up the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, as we continue to speak about the media launch of the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023, as we pay homage to all those who have contributed to what we have here in Tobago. So, special good afternoon and welcome to you, Ms. Tasha Boris.
Afternoon, Candice. How are you?
I am great. Now, tell me a bit about what are you looking forward to from tonight and from the Tobago Heritage Festival this year?
Right. So, to be honest with you, this has been a very, very action-packed weekend for Tobago. Everybody knows all of the activities that are taking place. So this is the first official media launch of the Heritage Festival this year, and it's at the first day of July because we have essentially signaled that we will start to coin July Heritage Month. So this is the theme and everything is part of the evolution of the Heritage Festival, because we have included new events such as a symposium to give the opportunity to persons in Tobago, persons outside of Tobago who have been following the Heritage Festival over the years, to be able to inform where do we go next. So we are paying homage to the past first, because we have to recognize that where we are at is because of where we've come from. But in going forward, we know that we have to evolve the Heritage Festival to become more accurate with global trends that have been changing, and to also make sure that the heritage remains relevant to the people of Tobago. So that for me, I'm looking forward to all of the normal things that we would see in the Heritage Festival and how we would put our own unique tweak on it. So for example, opening night is not the usual opening night that people would be used to. You know, we're trying to have our competitions at that night. So we'll have the Calypso Monarch and our Heritage Queen reigning for the duration of the Heritage Festival. But as I said, one of the major changes this year is signaling that July is Heritage Month, and that would send out a call to all persons in Tobago, all stakeholders, whether they be from the tourism and culture sectors or the other divisions in the THA, members of the private sector, members from civil society, to do their own activities as part of Heritage Month.
One of the major components also is involving our students, our schools in this. And I just want you to elaborate a bit more on that.
Yes, so the Culture Department actually kicked off their Junior Heritage Carnival caravan, back in June. So that saw them visiting different schools across the island and taking the message of what the Heritage Festival is to our younger counterparts. And from what I understand, they were received with open arms by the teachers and the parents who were present, and certainly the children enjoyed the opportunity to see what heritage is all about, the dance, the drumming, the music, you know, and to be able to get some little lessons and be able to participate themselves. And, you know, the interest from young persons shows that heritage is not dead in the minds of the Tobago population, you know. We just have to do more activities, I think, to include our young people, to include our youngest participants, and that is why we have a very robust junior heritage program that has been running alongside the traditional heritage activities.
When you look back on the Tobago Heritage Festival over the years, what are some of the things that stand out to you in your memory that, you know, that were just so impactful to your life?
So, I mean, usually we herald this heritage with this very beautiful opening night, and then we go trekking across Tobago. And for me, I think that is the fun in heritage. You're trekking across the island of Tobago. You're almost going on a 2-3 week adventure, and you immerse yourself so much into our culture. And the beautiful thing about heritage is that no one experience is the same. So that if you go to a Lekito folk tales and superstitions, you will have a different experience if you go to Plymouth Old Time Carnival and Juve. You will have a different experience if you go to Charleville Natural Treasures Day. So I think the heritage in and of itself as a product is several products in one. And I think one of the things that has caused people to keep coming back is the fact that they not only get to immerse themselves in the culture of Tobago, but they also get the opportunity to physically go around the island and experience the beauty and the warmth of our people themselves. So for me, that is the thing that I look forward to. I think for those 2 weeks in July, I almost don't go into the office. You literally just kind of get yourself ready for the next field trip. And it's almost exciting that you almost get to do a field trip every day. We have a very jam-packed schedule this year with activities one after the other. So it's unlike previous years where you may have a break in between activities, you get a rest. This year we're going from, according to the young people, right down until we lie down. So from the time opening night is done, that is straight into the Old Time Carnival and straight into all the other activities one after the other until the end on August 1st, Emancipation Day. So I know that I have to drink my tea, I have to take my vitamins, I have to get
Some good bush tea.
yeah, yes, of course, and get myself in a gear for all that heritage entails. Yes.
And you know, when you look at the pull, the attraction that the Tobago Heritage Festival has, what has been your the reactions that you've been getting out there as you've been going out and marketing Tobago, as you've been telling them about the Tobago Heritage Festival and the fact that in July this is a place to be?
Yes, so I would tell you that our international tourists are always fascinated by our culture, and the Heritage Festival is actually the perfect opportunity for them to come and have that complete experience. But more importantly, I think that in having the conversation about the evolution of the festival going forward, aside from wanting to attract our tourists at a particular time during the year to experience the heritage in July, we kind of have to look at what about the tourists that can't come in July and they're only able to come to Tobago in November. What are we doing to ensure that they could also have a heritage experience if they choose to? So that's one of the questions that we have to ask. How are we empowering our communities to now just not have a production once a year in July, but if it is that they are now empowered on their own or with help from the state to be able to have these productions at different times of the year, so that persons who are now coming into the island, they may come into the island for a regular long weekend, or they may be coming in for another activity, but they hear, oh, Lekito and Lekito is putting on our folktales and superstitions in November, that they could still now journey to Lekito and see that production even though they missed it in July. So I think one of the things that we have to look at definitely, especially since we have a cruise ship season that starts from October and ends somewhere around April, those tourists don't really get a full taste of what our culture has to offer, and I think that we are missing an opportunity, and it's an opportunity that we have to look at now and see how best we can exploit it and make sure that even though Heritage Month is July, that we could take some aspects of the heritage and have them at different times in the year.
And then as you're looking forward to this afternoon, is there anything in particular that you want to see coming out of this afternoon's launch?
Listen, I wasn't even part of the planning. So I got the invitation, I'm here. So I am just like most persons in the audience, just sitting down, waiting with rapt attention, very excited to see what the Assistant Secretary and her team have come up with. And I must take this opportunity to commend the Assistant Secretary, because she literally just took this heritage this year and ran with it. I have had no reason to ask a question, being a meeting or anything like that, and it demonstrates her own love for the culture, her own capacity. She has brought the team at the Department of Culture together. She pulled the resources from our other companies, the Festivals Commission, the TPAC, the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, and really put together a team of persons who are able to execute. I think what we will see is, according to her, a bumper heritage this year. Yes, so just like the rest of Tobago, the rest of Trinidad, the rest of the region, and even our international visitors who usually come home around this time, I am just waiting with rapt attention and awe.
And we're hearing something started. I'm excited.
Thank you so much, Candice. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Secretary of Tourism, Culture and Transport.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago being played on the steel pan, followed by the invocation, the crossing of the towel, being performed by DDA.
Look what me do, friend of me. Look what me do, friend of me. Look what me go, 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 friend of me. Look what my good friend to 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 me. Look what
Assistant Secretary, Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation, Assemblyman Megan Morrison. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Secretary of the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation, Councillor Tashia Boris. Assistant Secretary, Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation, Assemblyman Megan Morrison. Administrator, Mr. Duku. Acting Cultural Officer 2, Mr. Jesse Taylor. Cultural icons, specially invited guests, performing groups, staff, members of the media, or online viewers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Much better. It is one of the most anticipated events on the island's calendar. Of course, we're talking about the Tobago Heritage Festival, which celebrates its 36th edition this year. Welcome to the media launch, Heritage TELEAYE, the road to homage. I'm one of your hosts, Davia Chambers.
My name is Kidani O'Connor. So Tobago Heritage Festival is an annual celebration of dance, song, music, and cuisine of Tobago, and strives to preserve Tobago's unique culture, heritage. This year's festival will be held under the theme HOMAGE, paying tribute to all we and all who are we be.
The theme emphasizes the act of honoring our past, celebrating our present, and inspiring our future. Homage also seeks to rekindle efforts to know who we are as a people and all that's worthy of our honor and reverence. This year's festival will run from July 21st to August 1st.
In addition to showcasing staple events such as the old-time wedding, the Salaka Feast, folk tales and superstitions, natural treasures, and Juve, the festival will feature the return of the rum shop lime as part of its offerings to incorporate the rich and cultural traditions of Tobago depicted in other villages across the island.
Ladies and gentlemen, we truly hope you enjoy this media launch and it gets you excited about this year's festival. Are you excited? Are we excited? As we begin our program, we now invite Delicia's Dance Agency to do the invocation. Let's welcome them, ladies and gentlemen, with a lusty round of applause.
Anansi yo sorry baba, yo sorry baba, yo sorry baba. Anansi yo, Anansi yo sorry, Anansi yo, Anansi yo sorry baba, Anansi yo sorry baba. Anansi yo, Anansi yo sorry baba,
Baba.
Anansi yo sorry baba.
Anansi yo sorry baba. Anansi yo sorry baba. Anansi yo sorry baba. Hey. Anansi yo sorry baba. Hey. Anansi yo sorry baba. 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 Yo sorry baba. Anansi 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 yo sorry baba. Hey, hey. Anansi yo sorry baba. Anansi yo sorry baba. Anansi yo sorry baba. Hey, Anansi yo sorry baba. 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 Hey, Anansi yo sorry baba. Anansi yo sorry baba. Anansi yo sorry baba. Hey, Anansi yo sorry baba. 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 Sorry, 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 Baba.
Shango be say ay ay ay. Shango be say oh yo yo. Every lad go me belle. Every lad go me belle. Shango be say ay ay ay. Shango be say oh yo yo. Every lad go me belle. Lad go me belle. Shango be say ay ay ay. Shango be say oh yo yo. Every lad go me belle. Every lad go me belle. Shango be say ay ay ay. Shango be say oh yo yo. Every lad go me belle. Every lad go me belle. Shango be say ay ay ay. Sango be say, oh, yo, yo. Every lad told me balance. Every lad told me balance. Sango be say, ay, ay, ay. Sango be say, oh, yo, yo. Every lad told me balance. Every lad told me balance. Sango be say, ay, ay, ay. Sango be say, oh, yo, yo. Every lad told me balance. Every lad told me balance. Sango be say, ay, ay, ay. Sango be say, oh, yo, yo. Every lad told me balance. Lad told me balance. Sango be say, ay, ay, ay. Sango be say, oh, yo, yo. Every lad told me balance. Every lad told me balance. Sango be say, ay, ay, ay. Sango be say, oh, yo, yo. Every lad told me balance. Every lad told me balance. Sango be say, ay, ay, ay. Sango be say.
Good evening to all, and let me recognize the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Tourism, and help me with this, Culture, Antiquities, and Transportation, Ms. Megan Morrison, and also the Administrator in the Division, and of course the Secretary of the Division, and all the members of Heritage 2023 and the villagers, and Mr. Taylor and crew, good evening. Well, afternoon, rather. And so I'm here to speak a little bit about Pembroke, about 2 or 3 minutes, maybe. And you would have seen the presentation of the pier and plate and the crossing of towels as inimical of the Salaka feast as celebrated in Pembroke. A little bit of history. Pembroke celebrated Salaka feast and the nation dances well before the 1960s, maybe somewhere in the 1950s, where Pembroke had about 7 drum yards, and those drum yards celebrated Salaka feast, Bele, and I always say this, he probably doesn't like to hear it because I'm saying it too often, but Jesse's parentage are some of the people who did the Bele Festival in Pembroke in the very early days in the 1950s, etc. And these yards did from bongo to reel and jig, Salaka feast, nation dances. You say it, we did it. It was especially noticeable in the August time where we celebrated from July into August, where we called Emancipation Day, August Day. And the entire August month was celebrations. Enough of that. Salaka Feast is basically a festival where you honor the ancestors. And so elders are those who are alive and have reached a rightful age and have done enough to be put in a place called elders. So I'm probably an elder now, maybe. And ancestors are those who died, same elders who died and moved on. And so they have now gone into another realm. Salaka Feast is basically giving honor to those people for all the things that they did. And so homage in this year's festival really speaks to Salaka Feast in its entirety. However, this year we want to look at, our theme is thank you for freedom. And that really speaks to the fact that slavery was a thing of the mind. You may feel that it was a thing of the hands, but we are all free people now. So how come we still exhibit traits that existed in slavery? How come?
How can we separate ourselves into color, into tall and short, into which tribe you're from, into which part of Tobago you're from, into which part of Trinidad you're from, etc. How can we do that still? So slavery was a thing of the mind. But our foreparents recognized that one day the chains will come off. And so they prepared us for a freedom that we needed to release the slavery of the mind. We all know the story of Willie Lynch. If you don't know, you just look back in your Google Willie Lynch, and you will see the formula that he gave for slavery. Total separation, total one against each other, total division, divide all of us, and then conquer us. We want to say that our foreparents preserve our culture. And our culture are really the tools of freedom. So this year we're going to look at how the wake scenario fits into our culture, how when somebody is going to get married, you do the rituals of the real dance, how you do both christening and blessing of house, how you bury your neighbor, string somewhere, etc. Those are things that once we practice them, it frees our mind and help us to identify ourselves. And it could eventually have us understand which are our tribes and which are our nations. And so this year we want to pay homage to the ancestors for doing just that, setting the freedom chain. You could take it or you could leave it. If you take it, and we celebrate here today, and we understand the belly dance and where it came from, and that we modified it into an African sort of ritual, and you understand all these things, you will recognize that you're really free when you practice the freedom key that was left for you by your ancestors. And so we want to do that. We want to bring that on the stage this year in Salaka Feast. Giving homage, but identifying the fact that the rituals that was left for us create an identity within us that could cause us to be free if we take it. If we leave it, we remain trapped in our own minds. I want to thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for Mr. Wendell Berkeley, sharing his knowledge and teaching us some of the information from Pembroke Salaka Feast. So coming up next, our national instrument will also be featured in this year's festival. And I now call on a representative from Pan Tobago to tell us about the offerings in this year's festival. Let's hear it one more time for the representative from Pan Tobago, Mr. Brian Thomas.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brian Thomas, Chairman of Pan Tobago, Councillor Ms. Tashia Boris, Assemblyman and Assistant Secretary Ms. Megan Morrison, special invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I bring to you greetings on behalf of the President of Pan Tobago and the members of the Tobago region of Pan Tobago. Firstly, let me thank the Culture Division for involving Pan Tobagos in this year's edition of the Heritage Festival and foreseeing the importance of including the national instrument in these facilities and in the backdrop of the recent success on the national scale. It is significant that this year's theme is paying homage, as the Steel Band fraternity recently lost two stalwarts, Mr. Patrick Arnold, who was a past president of Pan Tobago, and Mr. Winston Gordon, also represented Tobago on very national levels in the steel pan and also culture. This year, Pan Tobago will be paying homage to those who have contributed to the national instrument. The steel band will be featured in 5 productions this year. The opening night, Plymouth, Juvie and Old Time Carnival, the Rum Shop Lime, Blackrock, Sea and Pan Festival, where we will have some awards, and also the Emancipation Celebration. We encourage all of Tobago and all of Trinidad and Tobago to come out and support the culture. Come out and support the Tobago Heritage Festival. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. The Mariah Old Time Wedding attracts hundreds of spectators each year. Coming now to tell us about the Mariah Old Time Wedding, ladies and gentlemen, is Crystal Solomon. Let's welcome her.
A pleasant good evening is extended to the Secretary, Ms. Tasha Boris, Assistant Secretary, Ms. Megan Morrison, and all specially invited guests. This evening, my cranium is quantum sophistically filled so as to expatiate my mental faculties on this joyful, efficacious, and momentous occasion. This evening, I am here to tell you about the world-famous Mariah Old Time Wedding. This wedding is one of the benchmarks of the Tobago Heritage Festival. It is designed to highlight the European influence on Tobagonians. The Mariah Old Time Wedding is just a display of the nuptials of things that used to be. The wedding activities usually begin the day before the wedding. It will take the form of a small celebration at the groom's family home, known as the Bachelor Nights. This includes tambourine music, dancing, reel and jig, and something that we still uphold in our village, making of the pork tea. So if you want to taste the pork tea, come see us the night before the wedding. On the day of the wedding, the focus begins with the bride, which is called the bridal affair. At the bridal affair, an elder in the family, it could be her grandmother, her godmother, or even an aunt, will have the marital conversations with the bride about what is expected of a bride. What is she expected to be as a wife going into a new marriage? At the wedding, you will see things such as the ladies like myself who are at the front of the wedding, which depicts various things that a wedding used to have long ago. You will see the coal pot. The coal pot is to say that the wife is domesticated. She can cook and she can clean. The lady with the canister, she is not leaving home naked. Also, you will see a lady with a young breadfruit. That is to show that the groom is getting a virgin bride. You will see the lady with the cake, and you will also see the washerwoman and the woodman. They are always there because sometimes, they are the people that they were invited, but they were not ready, but they just show up anyhow. And you can't have a wedding long ago without a village mako, the lady who can't seem to mind your business. Right? And she will come to tell you everything that was to be, or is to be, or what she thinks should happen. In the wedding, our signature dance is known as the brush back. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. 3 steps forward meaning that you are going forth into a new beginning and you are going into a new life. But you're 2 steps back to say that you are not forgetting where you came from. You have the breakaway, our celebratory dance, to celebrate the wedding, the nuptials. And also, we have something called, when you come to the village, you will see we have a heritage house. In this house, you will see what we call a banana flag bed. That is a long time bed, and you will see the long time hat hangers and all these things. Thank you very much.
So as we celebrate the Tobago Heritage Festival, we want to remind you that this is the road to HOMAGE. And as I mentioned, the road, coming up next, we have Tessa Alfred coming to talk about Plymouth, Old Time, Carnival, and Juve. Let's hear it one more time for Tessa Alfred.
Good afternoon to everyone. To the Secretary of Culture, and Transportation, to the Assemblyman, Megan Morrison, and all invited guests. I'm Tessa Alfred, and I'm obliged to be before you to highlight you of our Plymouth Old Time Carnival, which will be held on the 22nd of July, 2023. This celebration will be epic in the sense that we'll be having competition for kings and queens, old-time mass characters, traditional characters, bands, couples. So the start of the Juve will be at 4 a.m. till 10, and all are invited. On that day, we are expecting that all bands that will be participating will have old mass characters, traditional mass. It's old time, it's not the new generation carnival. So we want our old time traditional character. So all are invited. Come, there are a lot of things is expected on that day, so come out in your numbers to just enjoy our Juve. Come next year, we hope to bring it back to where it used to be long time, where we have the colanders coming in, we have our disguise dance, and so many other things yet to come for next year. But this year, our Juve will be epic, so please come out in your numbers to support this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tessa Alfred. Now this year, Goodwood is back on the Tobago Heritage Festival's calendar and will host the Yam Festival and Old Time Village Market Experience. Ms. Calissy Lewis will now tell us what we all can expect. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome her with a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to Miss Councillor Tashia Grace Burris, Assemblyman Megan Morris, and to all invited personnel. Again, I say good afternoon. Now I come to share a bit of history on the New Yam Festival of Goodwood and Goldsboro Village. The New Yam Festival is an annual harvest festival celebrated by the Yoruba and Igbo people held at the end of the rainy season in early August. The Iwaji Festival is practiced throughout West Africa and other African countries and beyond. It symbolizes the conclusion of a harvest and the beginning of the new work cycle. The celebration is a very spiritual and culturally based occasion, tying in communities together as essentially agrarian and dependent on yam. Yams were the first crop to be harvested and are the most important crops of the region. The evening prior to the day of the festival, all old yams are consumed or discarded. The next day, only dishes of yams are served, as the festival is symbolic of the abundance of the produce. Traditionally, the role of eating the first yam is performed by the oldest man in the community. This man also offers the yam to the gods, deities, and ancestors. It is believed as the elder, their position bestows the privilege of being intermediaries between their communities and the gods of the land. The rituals are meant to express the gratitude of community to the gods for making the harvest possible, and they are widely followed despite more modern changes due to the influences of Christianity. The day is symbolic of enjoyment after the cultivation season, and plenty is shared with friends and well-wishers. A variety of festivities mark the eating of new yam, for example, folk dances, masquerades, street parades, and parties create an experience that some participants characterize as art. Yeah. The colorful festival is a spectacle of exhibited joy, thanks, and community pageantry. The New Yam Festival is in fact celebrated in the Goldsboro and Goodwood estates by unattached plantation workers from West Africa. It was also revealed that plantation workers of different tribes celebrated together as there was a high level of camaraderie among the ethnic groups. Yams was the main crop produced in the Goodwood and Goldsboro estates after sugar plantation came to the end. The first attempt to reenact the New Yam Festival was in July 1990. The Goodwood Heritage Organizing Committee was chaired by Mr. Goldbrong-Jubb. Unfortunately, due to the attempted coup of that year, the festival was cancelled. In 2013, there was an engagement by the Tobago House of Assembly through the Tobago Festivals Committee to host the New Yam Festival. That year, we participated in the Heritage Discovery Tours, which featured historical sites throughout the community. We can boast there are numerous artifacts at Goodwood which can add to Tobago's list of recognized heritage and tourist sites. Just to give a few examples, the St. Mary's Cross, this is a midpoint of Tobago. It is one of the points on the imaginary line that divides Tobago into halves, the low side and the top side. As well as there's the Fun Stick Gully, sites of heating ovens used to boil cane juice to make sugar. And lastly, the sugar mill ruin. Well, not lastly, but in my examples, yes. Remnants of the windmill used in sugar plantation. 2014 and 2015, there was a full production of the New Yam Festival, inclusive of Yam-centric day of activities, stage production in night. This was made possible through the assistance of the Tobago Festivals Commission for funding the external agencies such as the Nigerian High Commission, the Emancipation Support Committee, and the National Archives of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Let's get one more time for Miss Khaleesi Lewis. And coming up next, we have the choir folk songs. And coming to do this presentation, we have new edition of folk performance doing a medley of brushback songs, music reminiscent of the old-time wedding. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome to the stage, new edition folk performers.
Married sweet,
Married
It's sweet like a sugar and a plum, plum, plum. It's sweet like a sugar and a plum.
Married sweet, mama you go see him. Married sweet, well mama you go see him. You get it, you like it, well mama you go see him. You get it, you like it, well mama you go see him.
Antoine, come and tell me who you're going to marry to. Who you're going to marry to. You're going to marry to. Antoine, come and tell me who you're going to marry to.
Me go marry to the one that me love. Me no like Jenny, me no like Molly. All of me love and me nice girl. Just see me the gish she nice hat, gish she nice dress, gish she nice shoes unless she step on the rest.
Me buy me long coat for go down a wedding. Me buy me love a long coat for go down a wedding. Tell me lover, he tell me lover.
Tell me lover.
He tell me lover, he tell me lover.
Tell me lover. Oh, young boy, I get married today. Oh, heel and toe, I go dance here today. Oh, Lantin and coke, I go nyam here today. Oh, I'm go skin, I go talk here today. Oh,
say mama go, tell me why you're bowling.
Papa go, tell them go.
Say mama go, tell me why you're bowling. I'm good gone.
Trouble in my skin.
Show me the fool who I'm married today. Oh, Billy Drum a roll. I hope you're the past make him married today. Oh, Billy Drum a roll. Left hand dumpling make him married today. Oh, Billy Drum a roll. As she just a mama make him married today. Oh, Billy Drum a roll. You big fat mama, you heel full of jigger.
Coming up the courthouse step.
Yeah, she give the man $1 to make he walk some more beer.
Coming up the courthouse step.
Oh.
Lincoln Gully,
Lincoln Gully, Lincoln Gully, you ever see where you be?
Kali mama,
Kali mama, Kali mama, Kali
mama,
Kali mama, quick.
She go fix this trick. Like it touch on Billy low.
Ole ole money.
Like it touch on Billy low.
Ole ole money.
Like it touch on Billy low.
It's ole ole money.
Like it touch on Billy low.
It's ole ole money.
Like it touch on Billy. Like it touch on Billy.
Ole money.
Like it touch on Billy. Like it touch on Billy. Like it touch on Billy low.
Ole ole money.
Like it touch on Billy low.
Ole ole money.
Like it touch on Billy low. Like it touch on Billy low. Like it touch on Billy. 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 Like it touch on Billy.
Ladies and gentlemen, another popular event of the Tobago Heritage Festival Ladies and gentlemen, another popular event of the Tobago Heritage Festival is the Miss Tobago Heritage Personality Show, which is also sponsored by First Citizens. This year, 7 contestants, as you can see, have been chosen, and you will get the opportunity to meet them as they introduce themselves to the public. But before they actually introduce themselves, they will choose their positions for the final show publicly. So at this time, I invite Little Miss Alexia Thomas from Delicia's Dance Agency to assist us.
Come let me reel, I make a brush back. Do something and roll back. Come let me reel, I make a brush back. Do something and roll back. Come let me reel, I make a brush back.
This year we have contestants from Mason Hall, Plymouth, Golden Lane, Bonaccord, Castara, Goodwood, and the group Sisters in Culture. So now I'll announce their order. Can I have the paper? She will be contestant number 4, and Tanika is representing Sisters in Culture. We have Goodwood Police Youth Club contestant number 2. Golden Lane contestant number 3. Mason Hall contestant number 7. Delicia's Dance Agency contestant number 5. Castara contestant number 6. and Plymouth lucky contestant number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for all of our beauties representing their various villages and groups in this year's Miss Tobago Heritage Personality. The contestants will now introduce themselves to the public.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Nikia Scott, blessed to be raised and nurtured in the village of Plymouth, Bethesda, well known for the old-time carnival tradition and Juve celebration.
This is the heritage Tobago.
Located in the island in the parish of St. Mary's, we have the cross. I am Crystal Lashley, representing the Goodwood Police Youth Club.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Deja Kwashi, representing the beautiful village of Golden Lane, culturally called Monka Lane, and home to the oldest silk cotton tree.
Come and see, come and see, come and see. Come and see, come and see.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tanika Cruikshank. I bring humble greetings from the vibrant rhythmic group Sisters in Culture. I encourage you to join me as we pay tribute to the past, the present, and as we aspire to inspire, encourage, and love.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Beauty, I am Brains, I am Talent. I am Melinda Catty Alfred, representing Delicia's Dance Agency.
Greetings to all. Standing before you this evening, I am Sparkle Taylor Miller, representing the scenic and authentic fishing village of Castara, and a proud member of the newly formed Tobago's Cultural Ambassadors. Come along with me on this journey as I honor our past, celebrate our present, and inspire our future.
Come and see, come and see. Come and see, come and see.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sabrina Olive Henry, your delegate and representative for the awesome piece of nature and people that is my village, Mason, Tobago, in the Miss Tobago Heritage Personality Show 2023. Join me as I pay homage to all are we and all are who we be.
Let's hear it one more time for our Miss Heritage Personality. 7 beautiful young ladies. So I want to take this time to introduce to the stage none other than Mrs. Miss Adana Roberts and Mr. Gilbert O'Connor coming to perform the Heritage theme song. Let's hear a round of applause for them.
Oy, 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 oy. 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 Come, let we go, let we go. Oy, 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 oy. Oy, 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 oy. Come, let we go, let we go. From Charlottesville down to Canaan, Castara to Golden Lane. I hearing drums and I hearing fiddle and tambourine ringing in my brain. Come, let we go to Bell Garden, let we see how Bella used to dance. I know when you hear them Bella drum a roll, you sure got to get up and dance. Woy, yoy, 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 woy, yoy, yoy, yoy. Come, let we go, let we go. Woy, yoy, 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 woy, yoy, yoy, yoy. Come, let we go, let we go. We going back to the old days to come up with the naked truth. Cause that is the way the people today will learn something about the root. Goat skin going to talk in Roxborough when we do the jig and decay. And then we'll go and see both Christmas and Grafton and Black Rock Bay. Hey, oy, 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 oy. Come, let we go, let we go. Oy, 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 oy. Come, let we go, let we go. We go see our old-time wedding, see the games people used to play. And then we will go and see Saint hanging on the beach down Castara Bay. We're coming to see them bouquet dancers when you better than patience still. And then we will go and see them choirs who battle down Charlottesville. Oy, 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 oy. Come, let we go, let we go. Oy, 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 oy. Come, let we go, let we go. We eating cassava bread and jacks, foreign and milk also. We eating provision and kong tea, drink fish broth and pack roe. We going to hear them long time stories from all over Tobago. And if you want to know how Obe used to walk, come let we go a lick it too. Oy, 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 oy. Come let we go. Can we hear this and say, oy, 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 oy. Come let we go, let we go. One more time. Oy, 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 oy. Come let we go, let we go. Oy, 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 oy. Come let we go, let we go. Say, oy, 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 oy. Oy, 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 oy. Oy, 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 oy. Come, let we go, let we go.
Now, the Heritage Calypso Monarch will be hosted on July 21st at the Shore Park Complex. 7 contestants and the defending champion will now choose their positions center stage. The contestants are Tilia Murray, Gave Sandy, Giselle Washington, Caston Cupid, Delani Baines, Leslie Ann Ellis, and Samuel Morris. Assisting us is Calypso Monarch Coordinator, Miss Kimmy Potts. Let's welcome them all, ladies and gentlemen.
Pleasant evening. I'd like to... Some of our Calypsonians aren't here today, so I'd like to invite Mr. Franz Strobe to pick on behalf of Miss TELEAYE. Oh, you're here. Perfect. Well, Franz, I still need you to pick on behalf of Caston Cupid. Thank you. Miss Louis, is it possible for you to pick on the behalf of Miss Gigi? Contestant number 1 is Miss Gigi Fraser Washington. Giselle Gigi Fraser Washington. Gave Sandy is contestant number 4.
Number 3.
And her mother, Miss Leslie Ann Ellis, is number 3. Delani Bain is contestant number 6, sorry. Our defending champion, Miss Shamika Dinoon, is contestant number 5. And my good friend Ringo is contestant lucky 7. Miss Talia is contestant number 2. And Caston Cupid is contestant number 8. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our finalists. And I do think, judging from the audition, I think that the Calypso competition is going to be extremely stiff competition.
So let's say it one more time for our Heritage Calypso Monarch finalists. In position number 1, Giselle Gigi Washington. In position number 2, Talia Naomi Murray. In position number 3, Leslie Ann Ellis. In position number 4, Gave Sandy. In position number 5, Delani Beans. Shamika Dinoon in position number 5. In position number 6, Delani Beans. And position number 7, Samuel Morris. Let's hear it one more time for all our Heritage Calypso Monarch finalists.
A wind of destruction is blowing over this land. And now the earth
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, please help me to invite to the lectern a woman who celebrates Tobago excellence and Tobago's culture. We'll now have opening remarks being delivered by the Assistant Secretary of the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Assemblyman Megan Morrison. Let us welcome her with a lusty, lusty, lusty round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
I say is the greatest power, stop hell and damnation. Bring down the power. Love to heal a nation.
Councillor Tashia Boris, Secretary of the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Good evening. Presiding Officer, Ms. Abby Taylor. Administrator Louis, welcome. Our sponsors, let me pay tribute as well to our technical advisor, Dr. Charleston Thomas, my cultural officer too at the Department of Culture, Mr. Jesse Taylor, all invited guests, contestants in the Miss Personality, contestants in the Calypso Monarch competition, welcome, good evening. A special welcome to our esteemed guests and ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinguished privilege and honor to formally welcome you to Heritage TELEAYE. Oh, lady walk a mile and a half and she TELEAYE. Yes, this TELEAYE symbolizes the media launch activity of the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023 edition. 36 years ago, individuals and communities embarked on a mission to find ways and means to honor and celebrate our rich and diverse heritage treasure as a proud people and sorry, forgive me. Yes. Our unique cultural heritage, one that is known for its splendor and glorious expression of our native cultural legacy. I am delighted as the Assistant Secretary with responsibility for culture and antiquities to stand with you all today, 36 years later. We stand strong, proud as a people. We are inextricably linked to the way of life, the way we do things. As our old coat of arms depict, our Heritage Festival has indeed become more beautiful. The Tobago Heritage Festival, as a significant annual event, has become our beacon of progression and economic diversification. A flag waving high as a symbol to the world, or signal to the world, inviting one and all to come and experience all we have to offer on this 120 square miles of lush flora and fauna, history, culinary decadence, and cultural majesty. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great joy to proclaim this 2023 installation of the Tobago Heritage Festival as open, as we bring homage to all our we and all our who we be. For this year, we will see on July 14th the Miss Personality segment of the competition in its recycle way. The official program is from the 21st to the 1st of August, where we will see different elements highlighted. On the 21st, we will have the opening night with Miss Heritage Personality and the Calypso competition at the Shore Park facility. It's a meager $100 to be entertained by 3 great shows in one night. We have, following that, the Plymouth Juve celebration and Old Time Carnival. Following that, on the 24th, we have the Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day. On the 25th, we move to Goodwood, where we have the Yam Festival and Old Time Village Market and Miss Junior Heritage Personality. On the 25th, we go to Pembroke at the Salaka Feast. Followed by the 27th, we go to Lake Ito for folk tales and superstition. On the 28th, we dominate the street of Scarborough in the Rum Shop Lime. At Mariah, on the 29th, we have the old-time wedding experience. On the 30th, we move to Speyside, where we have the Tobago Harvest experience. On the 31st, we move to Blackrock, where we have the Sea and Pan Festival. It's a 6:30 a.m. start, and later in the evening, we will also see pan and cultural expressions on showcase. And of course, on the 1st of August, we have Emancipation Day and closing celebration. At this year's edition, we will honor some of the icons that are among us, maybe a few deceased. So we have an opportunity to recognize people while they are still alive, and we don't allow them to wither off, yes? Thank you. In many ways, these festivals pay homage to three elements. One, or pass. It is a way to pay reverence for the esteemed work of our icons. We are saluting and acknowledging them. They were our knowledge bearers who have labored. We treasure the work of our ancestors and seek to walk victoriously in the indelible footprint they have left behind. The festival celebrates our presence, the present generation of innovators, creators, and those people who are essentially a gifted people, those who continue their accolades and contribute to Tobago's accomplishment, be it in tourism, sports, education, health, the environment, culture, and heritage, just to name a few. This heritage also celebrates our future. It embraces the inspiration of the future as it regards the retention and preservation and devotion to inspire, motivate, and include our youths our youth has a burning desire to learn and to give up their best. We have to nurture them from now. Today is a strong testimony that acknowledges this evolution of the passage through time of a people who are inheritors of our culture and deeply rooted in a rich history and tradition and cultural belief, which we have survived and blossomed into. We pay homage. And as I stand here, I remember when First Citizen Bank was the only sponsor who took the time to be on board with us. I'm saying special thank you to First Citizens Bank for your years of contribution to this festival. And while I thank First Citizen Bank, I want to highlight that this year we have a lot of sponsors coming on board for the first time. I would like to just make mention of them. We have Anchor Bar and Grill. We have Beverly Oasis Suites. We have Caribbean Airline coming on board. We have Comfort Inn and Suites. We have the Green Palm Boutique. We have Republic Bank. We have Roger D Sound System. We have Shepherd's Inn. We have Tobago Updates. We have TSTT B-Mobile coming on board. We have Paradise Cleaners. I want to say a special thank you to the persons who saw this as something they can invest in. And we have written several letters from the Department of Culture. So if you received a letter, I think from today, you can see what you are committing to or what you should be investing in. So I will give you all tomorrow to think about it, and Monday morning we should have a slew of sponsors willing to come on board to celebrate and promote our Heritage Festival. I can say the budget for this year's festival is roughly $4 million, and I can also say that as I stand here, we have commitments of over $300,000 in sponsorships thus far. As I close, I say, at Heritage TELEAYE, we shall walk purposeful to reflect, reignite, rekindle, regenerate, rehabilitate, restore, and pay homage to our heritage. Join in the pilgrimage, now and henceforth. This is our heritage. All are we, and all are who we be.
Let's hear it one more time for Assemblyman Megan Morris, Assistant Secretary of the Division of Tourism, Culture. So at this time, we would like to welcome to the stage Lescato Close Connection Culture Club coming to you to perform a presentation entitled Come Let We Go Lekato.
Come let we go a Lekito. You see that Lekito village there? One village me not live in. Palos, tell you, one Lekito. You see that estate? Where you get Lekito there? You get all kind of history on Lekito.
True, you know.
But you know, it get some people I work by for me estate there. Me not make sky with them, you know.
Well, you're not supposed to. Let me tell you something. You see me and you, two are two of the most prominent men in this village, Aleketo. You know why? You have estate, me a estate. Our control slaves. That's it? Of course. So how things are going on by you?
Well, you know, they say when you get land, you get water. You know?
Yeah.
So, them people who work pan for me land, so me not make scale with them, you know. And me not for talk much, you know. And here, you know, me see what body there, who work on the plantation, they like our slave.
What do you mean by that?
She look interested.
She?
Yes. You think me work for free hour? So me I get to work there all the time, and then me mustn't get nothing. But
so what you are trying to tell me? You are interfering with your own slave? And what you are trying to say?
No put thing on my mouth. Them time they saw they don't know slave. When they come to
them
me.
Them are workers.
Right. So when they come in there for work with me.
Oh. Why me better think about that too, you know?
Particular me tell you.
They start to work for me.
Particular me tell you, all kind of thing go on like it plantation, you know. But listen, me have to go with something. You crazy or what?
But you know, you see by me up there? Me not really make joke with them too, you know. When we hear them others, they have to follow, you know.
You're right.
They come here for work.
Of course.
You have to pick cocoa. You have to pick cotton. You have to cut sugar cane.
Massa, where are you attacked there?
I would not get little folk tales.
Let me tell you something. You see them people that you get to work at your plantation there? Me get one day. Let me tell you something. They say Lekito get jumbie. Well, me know me I go wake them up because right now them asleep. So when you see me, me cook a whip and me go down on a graveyard there and beat them 3 times and me wake up me grandmama where dead 10 years ago. What's that for you?
You can't do it one. None of your can't touch with me.
How we go see?
Here no. He get Obia and Mariah. He get Lekito Obe. See monks in charge. They can't touch them.
Well, if me have to go up them, I go up there.
Nobody out. Here we go. Right now, me have real work up by me for do. And them slaves have to get busy. Right? You have to do all that I tell them to do for today. We have a certain amount of productivity I have to achieve. Otherwise, I listen it. Look here.
And you know, they want to work for me estate there. Just the other day, they gave me 5 bag of cashwa, 6 load of cane, 10 bag of cocoa. And when you go home now, you tell me tired. Tell you what? Me say you have to work for me now. So you see what I go on? And you get one little one there. Me feel things start to go on with China.
Here. Good. Hope them you not talking about there, you know. We want you already, you know.
I wonder by.
Right. Right.
Anyhow, me I look for me I select one too, you know.
Let me look for you.
Because me not accustomed to going to them to ask for them kind of favors, you know. But me start to feel a kind of way now that when you watch them, my body a tingle. Yes. Because me want to indulge in that.
Well, you get one little one there. Me feel things start to happen. But anyway, keep right partner for me. Keep right partner. You might tell you, you are my partner. You have to keep me secret.
You know, one of the things I have for China for do. Now China for breed them.
What?
Don't forget them pregnant.
Oh,
now China for pregnant them.
Well, Palos, me feel late now, you know.
What do you mean by that?
All kind of son. Me grandfather tell me, when you hear you say, you work hard and you get plantation, and all them people that say work on your land. You have to stand up like a man, you know, because he said man made for manage. And he give me something there for drink. But me not going to talk here tonight. They have to come and let it over get the rest.
I hear you.
Yeah, they have to come and
I hear you.
And she talk about Obia. She Obia can't touch for me.
No, nobody else, she, man. I know about she the villager. She the one who always listen to everything.
Yes.
Every time you turn young, you there, you know.
You have a particular one, you know. And you are good thing, you know, and see me. Me sorry for you.
Me go handle she, man. Me go handle she, nobody else.
All right. Ma, watch your back.
Oh God, after a hard day work, let me relax myself a little bit. Oh God. Oh God, me tired. Long time nobody no come at me, but Lord, me tired. Ooh.
Oh God, oh gosh.
Yes, me
come late.
What now?
Me got something to tell you. One of the slaves pregnant.
You serious?
Yes.
How you know that?
Me know.
And where she there?
She come just now. Mother Machan, what happened? You gone silent over?
No, well, me shock.
Think fast, Mother Machan, think fast. Come in.
The baby coming.
Oh God, the baby coming. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
Take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
But now you pregnant so fast, sir.
Take your time. Take your time.
Oh
Come
my
here,
God.
let me examine you.
Oh God, hold she, Mother Machan, hold she.
Wait. You sure it's baby you making?
I expect you to make Mother Machan.
That look like a rise and fall to me. That not look.
Oh God. Oh my gosh.
Wait.
Hold she down, Mother Machan, hold she down.
Wait, drink this. That gonna help bring out the baby fast. Right? Later.
Wait on.
Let me examine that. This not look like our baby, you know. This not look like a baby. This look funny to me, you know. All right. When I say push, you push, stop, and blow. All right. Push. Wait. Instead of you bring the baby down there, you bring her up there.
Oh my gosh.
Bro.
Oh, be careful. Oh my gosh.
Oh God. Oh God.
Mother Machan, guys, what?
First time in my life, me see somebody make a baby. And the big come out look like a couple.
Oh my gosh.
You see what me tell you this thing now, normal? Mary?
Yes.
Let that son your cross and go put a go bury her or something.
Yes, Mother Machan.
I want you done your clean she up.
I do she
what? Where you get that belly there from?
The massa.
Massa?
The massa I breed me.
You sure the massa one?
Yes.
But me not hear you there with all them say. Take care latches spell Dutch here. Eh? Not everything was good for see, good for talk. Yeah? But come and go try for help you. Come clean yourself up. All right? Come me there, girl. Come.
Ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing is definitely certain. You are sure to be entertained with Lakoto folktales and superstitions. Let's hear it for the group once again. And ensure you mark on your calendar July 27th. That's when we'll host the Lakoto folktales and superstitions. The day activities begin at 7 a.m. and the evening production 7 p.m. Admission is only $50. Now, as the Assistant Secretary, Assemblyman Megan Morrison would have stated in her remarks, this year's festival has several sponsors. One sponsor is Beverly's Oasis Suites, and at this time, Mr. Christian Ward, the hotel's general manager, will bring greetings. Let us welcome him to the lectern, ladies and gentlemen.
Pleasant good afternoon to all present and also the viewing public. I must say it's indeed a pleasure to represent our company here today and to be of support to the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023. We at Beverly Oasis Suites and La Fountain Restaurant and SWAT, by extension, the entire Grads group of companies are honored to be a proud sponsor of the Tobago Heritage Festival 2023. This is our commitment to culture and good service from which every hotel and resort should support here in Tobago. We are indeed thankful for the opportunity to be a sponsor and partner with the Division of Tourism, Culture and Transportation in this year's festivities. As one of Tobago's youngest hotel managers and also being part of the Tobago Hotel Association, we are bursting with ambition to support local in all areas, whether it be in culture, sports, and even crime reduction. That is our pledge, and that is our commitment. And Madam Secretary, I know you said on Monday you would like more sponsorship. I must say, check me after. We'll be happy to support you in any way that we can. At Beverly Oasis Suites and La Fountain Restaurant, which is one entity from the group of companies, we have 6 luxurious suites and 5 villa-style apartments, totaling a total of probably 23 bedrooms. This is a Caribbean getaway. We boast of the best service, and also we have some of the best food the island has to offer, all seated around a waterfall, a water fountain, yes. It's approximately 15 feet tall. I guess you didn't know that. Come pay us a visit at Beverly Oasis Suites. Finally, I would also like to thank Mr. Jesse Taylor, the cultural officer too, and his entire team for year after year pulling off the Tobago Heritage Festival. And I'm sure this year we have a lot to look forward to. So with no further ado, please enjoy and thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Christian Ward. And at this time, we would like to introduce tambourine music and dance. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome as they come to serenade you with some tambourine and dance.
course, tambourine music is quintessential Tobago music. Now, as we get closer to the end of our program, we'll now be entertained with folk and West African drumming by a combination of Tobago's groups, followed by our reigning heritage calypso monarch, Miss Shamika Dinoon. Shamika will bring the curtains down on the media launch of Tobago Heritage Festival 2023, themed Heritage TELEAYE, the Road to Homage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the groups with a hearty round of applause.
The sun is coming to carry you home. All the way from Africa, coming to carry you home. So Lord, Lord, them by oh gusa, they are fro, them by them Tobago, Welino, and get a gun, we really want to be go, oh, want to be go, and I only want to be go. We really want to be go, oh, want to be go, and I only want to be go. Tobago, Welino. Get them on, come on. Ah, Tobago. Yabba! Hey! Hey! Thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for folk and West African drumming by a combination of drum groups. So before we officially bring the curtains down, just want to remind you of the opening gala date, which is the 21st of July. And on this day, you can expect to see Miss Tobago Heritage and also the Heritage Calypso Monarch. I would like to also take this time to invite to the stage reigning Heritage Calypso Monarch winner. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, stand at your feet, and welcome to the stage none other than Shamika Dinoon.
Tobago, how we feeling? Nah, man, what kind of thing is that? We paying homage. Tobago, how we feeling? I want to make all make noise. Make noise. Let's congratulate the Division of Culture for taking on this mantle as we used to be. It back then was the Division of Culture doing this thing. You understand? So we come back home. Right? Give me something there, DJ. We paying homage. Oh yeah! Hello we go. Hey! Tobago. Come, DJ, let me wheel it again. I call in Tobago. Let me see the queens. Lisa, of course, my whole Real and J. Gill, all they come, let we go. Queens, now is all the time to do a little thing here, you know. Don't be shy, you know. Let me give them things. Hey, Lisa, let me go. Oh, yeah. Hey, Elton, one of Tobago's best drummer. I've been away too long. This the banker strong. It gets so cold out here. Sometimes I feel I would die. No lie, can't take no more problems. I don't tell my friends and them. Sayonara, adios, and goodbye. I going home. 'Cause there's a land so warm and free in the Caribbean calling me. The drumming of the natives I can still hear. Would be the ultimate privilege to reconnect with my heritage. So when you miss me, just know I will be there. So how many, Chandra, tell them. Come in, hey, all of the chorus. What is this? I need no backup on the 21st. I don't get Kimboy and she crew. And then we, hey, the JD, heel and toe. Get up, Lisa, we work at the bongo. And dancing the coco. Come on, let we go. Yeah. Queens, this is all the time. Get them things. Come on, let we go. Yeah, that's our words spoken. Was truly heartbroken. That dreadful day I had to leave from this lovely isle. No smile. My parents had their sight set on the bright light. There's nothing I could do as a juvenile. Over the years I've learned to settle, pressing my hand on the metal, rolling a life of comfort of which I had. But when I feel my taste buds shake, thinking of brandy, cocoa, nutmeg, rolling in the days of it out in the yard. I miss you real bad. Come let me go. Let me go. What is that? Let me go. All I look out for Shino. All I hear that? Come let me go. Let me go. Hey. Let me go. Oh, let me see you. Let me go. Teaching me heel and toe. You work on the bum. Let me see your footwork. Look for me scared. Yes. Come let me. Hey. I know we made a vow, but I tell you now, a much deeper bond was formed long before you and me. Baby, why today I stand on solid foundation. We's on a family. Sweet memories back in the day. With all the games we used to play. Pitching marble, hopscotch, brown girl in the ring. All I know them games. The village just moving as one. A place so rich in tradition. Goat race, tambo bamboo, all time when we singing with me. Hey! Come and let me go. I said, come and let me go. I said, Tobago, Tobago. Let me go, let me go. Tobago, Tobago. Let me go. Hey, hey. Misty in the crowd. Let me go. I heard Pembroke Solwood. Miss Vanilla, all you welcome them. Good afternoon, Mr. Tobin. How you going? Natalia. All right, and of course, the parent play champion, Miss Chandra. Yeah. Nice girl. We're gonna look out for you. Contestant number 5. They say my country so stressful, so tense. With waste hate, young jail, way too much violence. Girl, pack up and go. Leave sweet Tobago. I tell them no way. No way. How the people small-minded, not cautious and loud as we. Bubble and scandal, boastful and proud. Yes, somehow I see all this foolery has been no dressing. Let me go down. Let me go, let me go, let me go down. Just eat some curry Q. Blue crab and callaloo. Give me things. Now leave it. So you can sing. I know you know the song. Give me a line. Hey! Hello, folk of the thing. Give me thing. Give me a kind of a laugh way. We thing. She gonna help you. She gonna help you. Hey, hey! Oh, you hear that? We're not leaving. All right. Oh, let's sing it.
Reigning Calypso Heritage winner. Well, viewers, that is the wrap on what's been a wonderful launch of the Tobago Heritage Festival. Of course, the excitement is just through the roof here at the Scarborough Library, where, you know, we're just seeing the queens, those of them that are contesting the Miss Tobago Heritage personality. And of course, we have Miss Shamika Denoon, who is the reigning Heritage Calypso monarch, you know, performing on stage for us along with the prospective queens for this year. So it's been a wonderful time. You know, we got to see a little taste of all that is to be expected for the Tobago Heritage Festival, including, of course, the Mariah wedding, you know, the Bel Air Festival, and all of those things that we've come to know and love and appreciate. And of course, if you haven't gotten it yet, the theme for this year's festival is that of homage, paying homage to all of those who contributed to the development of Tobago, especially in the space of culture, especially in the development of the Tobago Heritage Festival itself. So it's just, you know, a wonderful time of celebration, of reflection. We had the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Ms. Megan Morrison, you know, speaking to the need that we need to, you know, take this festival to the next level. So for this year, you know, things are going to be done just a little bit different as they work out a formula to take the Tobago Heritage Festival to where it needs to be and to make it bigger and better than ever before. And we just had the Assistant Secretary Megan, just, you know, contributing to the song that, you know, Shamika Denoon is performing at this point in time. You know, another thing she said within her speech is that, you know, the budget for this year's festival is $4 million, which, I mean, if you've ever been following, you know, what's spent on Tobago Heritage Festival throughout the last several years, it's quite a lot less than has been spent before. So that's just a couple of the things that happened today as we're just, oh my God, we got Miss Megan Morrison again on the mic. And apparently she's been a little bit shy. So it's certainly been a wonderful time. If you were not here, you missed out. But guess what? From the 21st, you're going to be experiencing this all in its full glory. And just to give you a little schedule, just in case you want to know what's going to be on the schedule, from the 21st, we have the opening gala, which will, of course, be a combination of performance and the Miss Heritage Personality and Heritage Calypso Monarch, all in one show. So you get the 3 shows in one. On the 22nd, it's a Plymouth Juve. So you want to get connected with your Juve bands to participate. And of course, it's going to be a focus on some of the traditional characters of Carnival. On the 24th, we have what is one of my favorite parts of the Typical Heritage Festival, and that is the Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day. I mean, Charlottesville is definitely the place to be when it is heritage. There's so much to see and do in one of the most beautiful villages in Tobago. And then on the 25th, we have the Yam Festival, an old-time village market experience, as well as the Junior Miss and Little Miss Heritage Competition, all happening in Goodwood. So a little bit of a new addition to the calendar, and that's happening on the 25th in Goodwood. On the 26th, we have the Salaka Feast in Pembroke. Of course, we know that's always a favorite. This very spiritual production where they recognize the ancestors of Tobago. And on the 27th, we have the Lekato folk tales and superstitions, and we got a little taste, just a little snippet of what we're going to see this year from the performance that we had. And on the 28th, we have the Rum Shop Lime, and that's happening in Scarborough. The return of the Rum Shop Lime, I should say. I think perhaps the last year we had the Rum Shop Lime was probably around 2013, 2014, somewhere around there, and that's always a very exciting addition to the calendar, and we're looking forward to the return of that. On the 29th, we have the Mariah All-Time Wedding, of course. That's perhaps one of the most popular events on the calendar. And on the 30th, we have the Tobago Heritage Experience, and that's going to be happening in Speyside, another new addition. And on the 31st, we have the Sea and Pan Festival in Black Rock. And the curtains come down on the Tobago Heritage Festival on August 1st with the Emancipation Day celebrations happening in Crown Point. So just so you know what's coming up. So if you're not in Tobago, you need to make sure you get your tickets, because guess what? Tickets get sold out very fast on the ferry and on the plane. So you're going to want to make sure that you are here to partake in all of these events. All right, so yes, that's kind of what we have for Heritage TELEAYE, the road to homage, as we celebrate everything that makes us who we are as Tobagonians. So, folks, we are getting ready to have a conversation now with the last performer, and that's Miss Shamika Denoon, and she is also the reigning Calypso Monarch competition. So as I shift aside for Miss Shamika Denoon to join us, so she can have a seat right here, folks. So you had a wonderful performance this afternoon.
Indeed, I did. Indeed. Thank you.
I just love the way how you're interacting with the crowd. You even got the Assistant Secretary, Megan Morrison, to get involved.
Well, you see, when they say you're an entertainer, you are not here to just sing, you're here to entertain. So you must have the crowd engagement, and, you feel the energies, and, you watch the people and you say, okay, you will give them things.
All right, great. So now we're looking forward to Tobago Heritage 2023. We've launched, so we're in full heritage mode. What are you most looking forward to this year?
I am looking forward to, of course, the Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch and Personality Show. I like the merging of the Tobago Heritage Calypso straight into the Juve. So it brings back that type of carnival atmosphere, so that revelry must come from off the stage to the Juve. So I really like that incorporation, so that we will get the youths involved also, so that they could see how it used to be from way back when. Because we paying homage, so we had to do the thing right.
What are some of the people that you think that needs to be recognized? Those people that have been in the culture space, that have contributed to the development of the festival and everything. Who are those people you think that really needs those recognition?
Definitely Miss Cheryl Duncan. Miss Cheryl Duncan has been, well, I come under Mr. Mike and Cheryl Duncan, God rest his soul. So however, Miss Cheryl Duncan is one of the best folk costume designers here in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean by extension. So I would like to see people like Miss Cheryl Duncan, Miss Kennetta Bob, she and Miss Evelyn Mackenzie were one of the first actresses of Tobago. So you know we have a proper lineage of what to expect and who empowered us and influenced us. So these are some of the names that I would like to see being honored this year. Also Miss Marcia Devines, another stalwart within the space for costuming. We have Tobago have some of the greats, not forgetting the younger ones, persons like Chandra Jerry. She is, she carries the parent plate on her head at the Salaka Feast. A very thrilling sight to see. You all saw her here today, and that's an art. That's an art. So not because she's not within the over 50s, she learned that from small. So, I think these are the people we should, give honor to.
I just want to thank you so much for Shamika Dinoon. And then certainly, you've been so instrumental even this year in getting everything together, working with the personalities, so the Miss Personality competition. So we're looking forward to see what comes out of it.
No problem, of course. Yes, I'm also working with a Miss Heritage Personality. She's also representing my group. So, I try to empower these young ladies so that they could see a dawn of a brighter day. So, yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, viewers, I don't know if you realize this, right? But Tobago Updates, this is just the start of Tobago Updates, bringing you all the coverage. You might have followed us last year. And last year, we went all out for you. But guess what? We've got all out more to give you. So you're going to want to get connected with us. We are now a television station, just in case you haven't heard. We are broadcasting on channel 102 on Amplia. So shout out to Amplia for allowing us to collaborate and being able to put us on that platform. So viewers, if you want all the content for Heritage, if you want to see the reruns, if you missed out on anything, you're going to make sure you get connected with Amplia and get their packages so that you can see Tobago Updates in all its glory. And of course, we can put Tobago out there for the world. All right, so this has been the media launch of the Tobago Heritage Festival. I am your host, Candice Jackson, and it's been my pleasure to bring you this evening. And I hope you have a safe and wonderful day, whatever you're doing on this beautiful weekend right here in Tobago. Bye for now.
Get them and go and